our masterclass on momentum to mastery. Our focus this afternoon will be on self-image. Our presenter for this afternoon will be Denis Smith. You'll be previewing a video, and then Denis will take on the presentation.
Okay, thanks, Suzette. Welcome, everyone. We're going to begin this session listening to a little clip from Bob Proctor.
Hello there and welcome. I'm Bob Proctor. You know, over the next few minutes, you are going to have some absolutely incredible information shared with you. You know, I could go back many, many years, 55 years ago. I was one lost soul. I was sitting in a fire hall in the suburb of Toronto, and a man gave me this book, and he said, if you do exactly what I tell you, you can have anything you want. Well, I didn't believe that, but I believed he believed it. And so I thought, I'm going to do exactly what he says. I have never looked back. I have earned millions of dollars. I've had an absolutely phenomenal life, and it just keeps getting better. I have no intentions of slowing down. I'll be 82 here in a day or two, and it just keeps getting better. I got the energy of somebody that's 32. And you know, what you're going to hear over the next few minutes is the essence of everything that I've studied over the past 50 years. Listen really carefully to what they're going to explain to you over the next few minutes. And if you're wise, if you've got your ear to the ground, you're going to see how your results will change dramatically. How you can multiply your income, you can improve your relationships, and you can live in a healthy body. I have studied for a long time. These people have got the answers for you. Listen carefully to them.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Proctor Gallagher Institute have been helping people from 1961 until now. Therefore, we're talking about experience, accumulated experience. His vision is to improve the quality of life globally by elevating the quality of thoughts individually, one person at a time. They do this by educating and empowering the audience through product, service, and events, such as this one indirectly, that expand awareness and harmonize people with the natural and immutable laws of the universe. They extend to play a significant role in creating a world in which true wealth, that is spiritual, material, and intellectual, flows to, through, and from every person, and ever expanding, never-ending cycle of abundance. Today, we're focusing on self-image and belief enlightenment with special emphasis on entrepreneurial guidance. Right? So we seek to help gain clarity and confidence. We'll learn some actionable techniques. And as I've mentioned before, this is not anything new, but is accumulated experience over the years. We want to build some momentum. And that's why we have this series, monthly series every third Sunday, to help people to begin to develop resilience and to connect with other people in the community of entrepreneurs that are dedicated to transformation. In looking at self-image, this statement here comes out, I am who I'm not, sorry, who you think I am. I'm not who I think I am. I am who I think you think I am. I would suggest to those who are interested, take a screenshot of that and think about it. All right? And here's a little exercise that you can do. I tried this once and I was very surprised. Select two persons who you think you know and write down what you think they think of you. And if you want to extend it, ask them what they think of you. As I said, I said this out to some people who I knew for a very long time, and I was pleasantly surprised. Because what I think they think don't necessarily coincide, you know. And the good thing is that a couple of them was able to bring out some positive aspect which I didn't even consciously be aware of, but which in my association with them. So do this exercise and then we'll see. Now, I want to share with you very quickly my first mentor, which is my grandma. Because that I grew up with my grandma. My mother was very young. She was about 16. So in those days, she was not considered competent enough to carry out the task. So that my grandmother did. In fact, recently I had a discussion with a cousin of mine. We're just, maybe, I don't know, a couple of years difference. And he's saying that he remembered her saying the same thing to him. We may be poor, but we are not poor in spirit. I couldn't understand what she said then, but this is where we were. And this is not just a stock picture. This is an actual picture of the environment in which I grew up in. So one room, you entered up the step, and it's one room. And you would sit on the step as a young person, and you would, in the morning, if you're not going to school, you wash your face in your basin. And in the evening, before you go to bed, you wash your foot in the basin. If you are going to school, then you are required to go to the bathroom and have a bath. If not, there's no need to do that. And as I grow older, there's maybe about 16, 17, I came across a little book on the road. Because I had a habit, and I walk, I always look at all the surroundings wherever I was. I would look at buildings, I look at everything. And I found this little book, a little red book, and I just share with you a part of it. Part of it is James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. And it says, I think, therefore I am. You have to construct a world of belief. Belief in your own destiny, belief in the goodness of others, belief in the purpose of existence, belief in unselfishness. You have to believe to live. And the more you believe, the more abundantly you live. It goes on, but I just want to share that part with you since we are looking at belief. I'm 16 years of age when I found. And for the next 10 years, without anyone saying anything to me, I carried that little book in my pocket and I read it every single day. I didn't understand most of the stuff, but I just keep reading it. And it's only when I look back did I realize that my life was being adjusted as I was going along with these things. Belief in yourself. So when my grandmother said, you may be poor, but not poor in spirit, it meant that you're always aiming for better than where you were. That was the message. So I just share that as to one of my beginnings. I went on to, of course, and eventually learn what Bob talked about as an unconscious competent. At this point, I want to share with you one of Bob's signature development in the field of personal development, which is the stick person. We have a large circle representing the mind, a small circle representing the body. So the body is an instrument of the mind, and that's why it is larger. This is just an image because your mind is in every cell of your body. Every cell of your body. And we'll get to that if you want examples in a discussion, we can give it to you. So the large circle is divided into two. The first one is the conscious mind. All right? You also have your five senses which you communicate with and deal with the outside world. Your conscious mind is your thinking mind. And you have the subconscious mind, which is the lower half. And there, this is your emotional mind. This is your doing mind. This is where you do things. And we'll get a little bit more into that. And of course, your body is where you get into action based on the vibration, the sequence, the frequency that you're on. And as we go through today, we will constantly refer to this. The conscious mind accepts or rejects. This is where you choose. This is free will. You choose what you want to do, believe, whatever the case may be. And you can also reject. You know, you can decide, for example, that watching the news is not going to help you. Therefore, you don't. That's your choice. Or you can watch it and become absorbed in their constant talk about fear and all doom and gloom. The subconscious mind, on the other hand, must accept, cannot reject. So energy is flowing through you constantly. Some people, they are religious, say God. So energy is, God is, whatever. It's up to people who may have that particular structure belief. Now, who are you? And this is where many persons have great difficulty. When I have seminars, I normally ask people this question and they are there. And of course, they would say, they'll give me their name. And I say, no, that's your name. They point to the body. I say, no, that's your body. And they, of course, they turn around and ask you who you are. Some people, they would say, I am, which is pretty cool. But you're a spiritual being. Now, personally, it took me a little while to grasp this concept. And one way I try to look at it is like this. If you're energy, so everything around you is energy, including you. If you're energy, and energy can neither be created nor destroyed. And as we're going to look at, you have an intellect and you physically live in a body. Now, if you are energy, what were you before you entered this body? And what will you be after you transition from this body? Since energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So if you want to live an everlasting life, don't worry yourself. No. And so the intellect, you have what is called intellectual faculty. You have your imagination. You have your intuition. You have memory. You have will, reasoning, and your perception. And thanks to a dear friend of mine for his wisdom in getting us to actually put in the conscious mind the six intellectual faculty so that people can see. That is where it will reside. That is the gift that you have. So if you follow me like on TikTok, you'll hear me say, the power lies within you. That is it. You have the capability of using your imagination, creating whatever you want to create. And you then have the will that you concentrate on what you want to do. You have reasoning, the perception is your point of view. So you can look at any situation, you can do like what the majority of people will focus on the negative and say you cannot, or you can focus on the positive. So let's continue. So the body now, the physical body, moves into action. It creates a reaction. Cause, effect. Every action creates an equal and opposite reaction. If you do physics, you'll come across that often in physics. And this then changes the conditions, circumstances. In a word, it changes your result. So that's a process that the stick person will try to explain. And of course, we're going to greater depth depending on what it is that we may be looking at. But that's the big picture that we do. It is interesting to know that approximately 98% of people are without a major goal. And it's significant that approximately the same percent of people are regarded as failed. So what are you going to do? You have to let go of the old and embrace the new. This is what we are about. So whether you are stuck at 20,000, 100,000, or $1 million a year, whether you're stuck at being 5 pounds overweight, 20 pounds, or 100 pounds, whether you're stuck at getting C in school or college, whether you're stuck at a desk job you don't love, a business that's running you, or you're just feeling unfulfilled, stop. Stop. I often explain to my students sometimes, I say to them, you have to be careful. The parent is living from paycheck to paycheck. And at the rate you're going, yes, you may be earning more than your parent, but you're still living from paycheck to paycheck. You're stuck. You're not going. At this time, what I want to do is just to listen to Bob for a very short clip when he's talking about the winning image.
Great ideas can come from anywhere. With Wix, you
We were created to have and enjoy all the good that life has to offer. You're God's greatest creation, and you are meant to win. Unfortunately, not everyone views the world or their life the same way. Some see it as a very harsh, cruel world, and they're forever struggling to make ends meet or keep a relationship together. It seems they're forever running on a treadmill, going nowhere, never taking the time to enjoy what they have or to see the beauty of the world that they're a part of. Have you ever asked yourself what differentiates the winners from the masses? Well, I have. I've researched the subject now for over a quarter of a century, and I have found that the winners are aware of a certain place within. It's referred to as the higher self. And in this higher self, there's an image of perfection, which is forever attempting to express itself in a greater way. When the winner wants to turn their dreams into physical realities, they call on this higher self. Now, generally, when a person doesn't know how to do something, they say they can't do it. The truth is they can. You and I are capable of doing anything. We are God's greatest creation. We're spiritual beings. And as spiritual beings, we're able to do anything at all. All things are possible. Our objective is to figure out how, not whether we're able to or not. To properly deposit your winning image in the treasury of your subconscious mind, it's vitally important that you remember the first law of learning. It's repetition. Begin to visualize yourself with some of the nice things you'd like to have. Possibly the home that you'd like to live in. It may be the business you want to build or the position you'd like to hold. Possibly the income you'd like to earn. You may want to visualize the vacation that you'd like to take. What is important is that you do visualize. Block out any distractions. Let yourself totally relax and begin to see yourself actually living the life that you imagined yourself living. See yourself the winner that you want to be. And let all these beautiful pictures sink deep into every cell of your being. In other words, add a lot of emotion to it. Something as simple as how you dress and how you walk and how you project yourself sends a strong message to everyone in your external world, but it also sends a very powerful message to your subconscious mind. Present yourself physically in a manner that's consistent with this new winning image that you're developing. Then we want to go inside. Take a real close look at ourselves with our inner eye of understanding. How do we perceive ourselves? Are we beginning to see ourselves from within as the winner that we really want to be? And you'll know and realize that you've created a better world for yourself and everyone else to enjoy. And you'll also realize that what you're looking at is a reflection of your own winning image.
I hope you enjoyed this video. We put a lot of good information up here.
Now, so that little clip with Bob, I just want to bring out a few points. And this is linked to how we work in the Proctor Gallagher Institute as coach. He talks about repetition. That is one of the ways and the manners in which we help people to develop new habits. He talks about the technique of visualization. You have to first be what you want to be. You have to be it. And we help you to develop that. And of course, the topic which we're dealing with today, he talks about self-image. And we're going to get into that a little later on. But right now, this is your journey. Most of us, especially when we're young, we think that the journey is going to be smooth, straight road ahead. No? But then you may find that one. It's a winding road, uphill, downhill. Right? Change is inevitable. But you have to make the choice. You can think of being calm, or you can think of the waves coming in. But regardless of whatever the situation is, there's a law here which is called a law of rhythm. Up and down, in and out. And that is how life is going to be. There's nothing to do, there's nothing you can do to avoid it. What you can do is when it is done, you think of the glorious time which is coming up. And you also have the memory of past positive experience. Right? So goals. And we've defined success. The definition of success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. You have to have a passion. You have to have a goal, something that you're aiming towards. So do you have a written goal? Put a yes in the chat. This will help you being accountable to yourself. So your personal growth starts with the quiet moment where you realize that you're better than what it is you are. We're going to give you a little exercise. And this is linked to what we mentioned about growth. What is your monthly income? I want you to actually write this down on paper. What is your yearly income? Do you have a goal? If you have a goal, write it down. What if you multiplied your monthly income by 4? Write down that figure if you can. And what if your yearly income became your monthly income? These are questions which I want you to, because it's a master class, so we want you to begin to think in a different kind of a way. The monthly income, what is the yearly income? You have a goal, write it down, because we're going to get into that. Because most people have goals that they know they can achieve. Goals which they think they can achieve. And goals which you don't know how to achieve. That is the one that's stretchy. And this is what we help people to do. If you have a goal, is to clarify, is this A, B, or C goal? So if you achieve that goal, that money goal, let us say 4 times the income or whatever, who would you be? How would you feel? Especially with amongst your friend and your associates. What would you be doing? And where would you be going? So how do you feel? Who would you be? What would you be doing? That is what. Remember when we spoke about the conscious mind? This is where you use your imagination to create the things that you want. So now we have here Suzette, Eagle, Dynamics, Proctor Gallagher Institute, Porch. Those who know her very well, she's always smiling. And so we say this is the gift that keeps on giving. Because she always radiates positiveness. And this is just a few random images. I'm going to invite her now to talk a little bit about her journey and experience, both in thinking into result and being exposed to this. Suzette, all right.
All right. So I came upon thinking into results in 2021. However, before that, I had a goal, a dream of going to college. So at 33 years old, I went to college. But before that, I had the goal. I constantly see myself graduating. So I had this picture of myself in my head of me graduating from university with that canister in my hand. So that was a picture that I had. I had it on my vision board. I also had a picture of me on the podium speaking, and that was a replica of my goal of being a motivational speaker. And all of that came through. So at 33, I went to college. At 37, I completed. And there was a section on it that had A plus on the vision board. So in order for your goals to be achieved, you have to have a visual picture of them. And that picture should always be with you, whether it's be on your vision board, it should be imprinted in your brain, and you work from the goal. So you see yourself there and work from the goal. And then when I started doing the TIR, I realized that I was actually practicing some of the principles of the TIR by doing that. So, and TIR has moved my life from down at the bottom. It has elevated me, and it's a program that constantly help your life. So every situation you find yourself in, you can utilize the TIR to solve it. And it comes out in different situations. Right now, I have a goal that I'm working on and the visual picture of it. So I see myself, I have that image of myself accomplishing that goal, and I'm working towards it. Back over to Denis.
Thank you, Suzette. You can see there one of the things that happen. Once you achieve a goal, you have to recalibrate and set new goals. I can think of several persons who I knew along the way. They did certain things, they didn't know why they did it. One person left their job, started a business, didn't know how they were going to do it, and things fell in place, they did it, and so forth. But then once they had the business, they didn't set any more goals. They had no more vision of growth. They fall into survival mode. Naturally, so when something went wrong, they did what they think they know to do, which is to work hard. So one of those persons I keep talking to them to come to something like this, they say, no, they're busy. That's 3 years now. I'm still busy. And this is where you can do it, but you do it by yourself, but you cannot do it alone. You're going to need guidance, you're going to need mentorship to carry yourself to the next level. So, one exercise which we encourage people to do is what I call a fulfillment wheel. You have 8 areas here. And what we want you to do is to rate yourself from 0 to 10. So you're going to take finances, for example. Where are you now? Are you satisfied? 4 or 5? And you're going to look at health. Same situation. Rate yourself 0 to 10. Where do you think you are? In your business or your career? Where are you? Family and friends, relationship there. Where are you? Romance, intimate situation. Where are you? personal growth? Are you investing in yourself? I often, as a mathematics teacher, have great difficulty trying to get students to understand the distinction between an investment and buying or spending. They will spend money to do their hair. They will spend money to buy the most expensive shoes. But they will not buy a graph and calculate. They say it's too expensive. And I have to point out to them, you're not buying, you are investing. Or that calculator, you can use it right through college and beyond and pass it on to other people. Fun and recreation. The whole time saying all work and no play make Jack a Jill and the person. The physical environment. So the first thing is to do an audit of yourself. You want to know where you are in these things. And then I want you to think about, you may not be it now, to think about what is your belief. What are the things you believe? Remember I talked about before about believe in your own destiny, believe in the goodness of God. Right? So the thoughts, feelings, and action you experience in those areas of life. Let's select a few. For example, what is your attitude to money? Finance is one of the biggest ones that most people face. We just talk about the stick person. So I'd say the thoughts that you have, the feelings, and what action have you taken? So you select. So one of the ways to do this is to look at, having done the fulfillment, being the assessment, you look to see which one is the lowest one. And you may choose to work there, or you may choose something else to work on. You may choose the one that you are best at. And you go a little bit deeper, and that's what we're suggesting that you do. So your belief is the biggest stumbling block that people are going to face. And in Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, he says, there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. Most people miss that part. It says ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing until they believe they can acquire. So yes, you can visualize something, but if you don't believe, it's not going to happen. It's going to take very long to happen, and sometimes you don't know why it happened, because in a sense you begin to believe. Because this is where the repetition comes in. This is where repetition comes in. They keep saying it. At first, you don't think so, but you keep doing it. So the state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. Open-mindedness is essential for belief. Closed mind will not inspire faith, courage, and belief. So the key thing is you have to believe. So to be ready, as I emphasized before, It's not mere hope or wish. You have to translate that into belief. And one way of doing it, so you go on to point out that what? Remember, no more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity than is required to accept misery and poverty. The same effort. I recall as a young man going primary school, there was a little bakery across the road. And sometimes we'll be there wishing for a loaf of bread. And I remember, I don't know who this person was. He said, if you're going to wish for a loaf of bread, why don't you just wish for the darn bakery? Don't wish for the bread. Let's wish for the bakery. No. So, then at that age, you're not sure what would I be doing in that bakery or manage it. But the point is this, that no more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance than is required to accept misery and poverty. It's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you are now. So we keep saying that we can't, because you don't think that you can. So you cannot outperform your own self in it. So we act, behave, and feel according to what we consider our self-image to be, and we do not deviate from this pattern. Maxwell Watts, in his famous book, Cybernetic. So you have an inner you, and you have the world, the one which you express to the world. When the two things don't sync, what you think is going to happen? So you have people who dress nice, but they don't believe they can make it. And that they are going to then behave in a certain kind of way. And they will not realize when they're not making progress why it is. So it sets the boundaries for your performance and achievement. Your result is always a reflection of what is going on inside of you. So where did you get this image from? What you have been told by yourself and others, or you were treated by others, especially the past experience when you are small, successes and failures, and belief that you have developed about yourself over time. Criticism or praise. So your environment in your early days set the stage for what is going to happen. However, there comes a point where you now are able to choose the ideas that you want. You can either look at the negative or choose the positive ideas. And then you are going to then impress this on your subconscious mind, which then is going to change your vibration and put you in that. So it says what? You become what you think about. You choose your thoughts. And when you internalize and impress by your subconscious, that controls who and what you are. And therefore, you are going to attract. You are going to be in a vibration which you're then going to attack. So what? You have to change your image. So by altering that image that you have, and this involves the techniques of visualization. Bob spoke about that earlier, and you have an image of what it is that you want. Mental rehearsal. You keep repeating and telling yourself what it is that you want and affirmations which we have. So for example, I'm so happy and grateful now that my life is full of love. I love who I am. I love what I do. I love what I am becoming. So it's an example. And then over time, they're then going to begin to gain and to reach financial freedom and so what you. So what do you define yourself by? What you lack or what you have? But if you focus on what you lack, you're going to get more of that. People find it very difficult and they don't understand what is happening. I have a very example that I always share with B. This individual, she said that she don't want to lose her boyfriend. She don't want to lose her job. She don't want to be homeless, you know. And she going down the list. Because she said she stopped going to church because God is not giving her what she wants. So that ends I asked her what it is that she prayed for. I then point out to her that you have received everything that you have prayed for. All of those things are what you asked for. The subconscious mind does not understand negative. It does understand what it is. Fortunately for me, she didn't speak to me after. She killed the messenger rather than the message. So, the result that you are achieving are a direct reflection of the image of yourself you own. So you have to improve that image. Einstein pointed out that everything is energy. And that all there is to it. So you have to match the frequency of the reality you want. Not the things that you don't want. And you cannot help but get that reality. Can be no other way. But it is extremely important that you focus on what you want. So you bring your body into that vibration, and then the law of attraction will work. So Buckminster Fuller points out something here very important. You never change things by fighting existing reality. So every now and again when I look at the news, I hear they say they're fighting for rights. And they're fighting for this and they're fighting for that. And the country as a whole is fighting some other country. Everybody is fighting. He says to change something, you have to build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. You have to become a creator, not a competitor. So here we have another exercise now. We ask you some questions. What do you like about yourself? Want you to do this, you may not be able to do it right now, but as soon as I'm finished, you take a shot of it, and as homework, I want you to go through this exercise. What are the qualities that you really love about yourself? How can you bring out these qualities more of the time? You know, we spend a great deal of time beating up ourselves, talking about what we cannot do, what didn't go right, when we have certain good qualities.
You know Harbor Freight for affordability.
So we're going to give you, with this, an exercise. What is a snapshot of the new you? Remember what book Fuller says? You have to create a new model. New man. How do you create a new man? We're going to give you some suggestion. Do this every month. You're going to write down 3 versions of yourself you will be today. Again, now, remember what we did earlier in terms of the fulfillment week. We have all those areas. We identify those areas, we give certain tasks in. Now we're going to look at the opposite. What version of you? 3 versions. Here, I'll give you some examples. I'm a brilliant creator of music. I'm a successful entrepreneur. I'm calm and serene. I'm deserving of the very best relationship. I'm focused and dedicated. I'm healthy, strong, and full of vitality. Now, this is the technique now. You're going to choose one. So out of the 3 you choose one. And you're going to observe your behavior in terms that is new you. I'm calm and serene. So from how are you going to constantly observe yourself if you're acting in that manner? So somebody may criticize you at work about something. Do you remain calm? Or do you start to conjure up all kind of stuff in your head? What does this do? It collapses the 3 things you have into one. So you take the 3 identity, this is what is happening, the 3 identity, and you're telling your brain, because you're focusing on one. I was talking to someone and I pointed out to them in the course of doing this, and this is related to what in my field of mathematics is fractals, and what Manable said, which says that a small incident can change the trajectory of history. Small incident, seemingly insignificant, but the accumulative impact. And this is what this exercise is doing. It's taking it from 3 to 1. So you're observing and focusing it. You're breaking down your identity into 1. So again, this is something we can leave you with. We can expose you, as we have tried to do today, to self-image, the belief, and how this is connected to. But to make lasting progress, you need mentorship. You're going to need mentorship. And therefore, we are offering a special offer, an 8-week workshop program beginning August the 2nd to the 20th. Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight, US time. And we're focusing on the millionaire mindset, how self-image unlock the entrepreneurial success. You'll receive a program, a self-study program, and we'll carry you through the whole process of that with some of the things here to build that image using some of the techniques which we point out here. So take a shot of that to request a discovery call, or you can go to the website www.eagledynamics.biz and you'll see on the events page more. We also have our signature program called Thinking into Results. Here, Suzette talk about TIR. Those of us inside you, this is it, but it is thinking into results. So this program will help you change the paradigm, improve yourself in it. You discover different type of goals, which I mentioned earlier. And one thing you should never consider when establishing a goal. Remember Suzette pointed out that when she decided to go to college to improve and to get a degree, she didn't know how. Her bank account didn't reflect. You look, her bank account didn't reflect it. But the fact that she was thinking about it, she's working in the principal office, and what happens? A correspondence is passing through. And it says what? Apply for a scholarship. If you want to teach, you apply for a scholarship. So she discuss it, get the recommendation, apply for it. I remember the day when she got it. It was ecstatic. But remember, you know, when you are in a particular situation, you don't know how. But if you become calm, relax, the answers will come to you. Ask. Seek. Now, opportunities are going to come. However, if you have a closed mind, they are going to reject. How to multiply your effectiveness, the unread habit that will bring you bigger payout than any other. Simple way to instantly supercharge your productivity, hidden mechanism that determine what comes into your life and how to take control of your life. And fourth, easy steps to avoid the number one threat to your success, which is fear. In our thing we call it a terror bar, and so much more. So again, if you are interested, you scan that and request a free discovery call. Or if someone invited you to this meeting today, you can also get in touch with them and then we can take it from there. So let's just listen to Bob with a few closing remarks here.
Well, there you go. Now think of this for a moment. Have you any idea what could happen to you, to your way of thinking in your life over a 6-month period? Now think of this. We invest in everything under the sun. We invest in clothes, we invest in our cars, we invest in our gardens, we invest in our houses. Very few people invest in themselves. You see, the thing I learned as I started to study this book, every dime I spent on me, I would get back tenfold and very, very quickly. If you really want to change your life, don't ask yourself, can you do it? Just like that, make up your mind to do it. If you have to borrow the money from your grandmother to do it, I say that because that's where I used to borrow the money, then borrow it and fix everything in your life. Learn how you can multiply your income. Learn how you can live in a healthier body. Learn how you can have more meaningful relationships. You see, life can be absolutely incredible, but we have to become aware of how to make it that way. You and I have the ability to take one of these things in our hand and write our own ticket. I'm telling you, invest in yourself. It's the best investment in the world. You are God's highest form of creation. If you're stuck, if you're not really making the progress you want to, start. Get involved in what I call exponential growth. Most people are involved in linear growth, if there's any at all. They go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Exponential growth is when you go from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, boom, boom, boom. And it just keeps getting better. We've put it together. There's over 50 years of research. There's people all over the world use this. Make sure you're next. Don't ask a person beside you what they think, what they're going to do. What are you going to do? Follow that quiet voice from within. Now listen, when you go to step out and do this, the old paradigm is going to try and hold you back. Just say, get out of here. I'm doing this. I'm growing. Try it. You'll love it.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this was helpful and that that gained something from this, and that we'll be in touch to make the step. As I said, we have this class coming up, the 8-week course, but each month we have these sessions that you can come, gain something, and be able to make some step to improve your life. So, again, thank you very much. Want to be respectful of your time, and unless there's any questions, any comment, we are open to, do that. To my friend Melville, I'm going to do you what you do to me. Any?
Yes, I just want to say this was truly, we studied together, but the key element in stepping into this masterclass was reinforcing much of what we know and even seeing it from a different perspective. So I am very grateful for the opportunity to have been in this masterclass and the impact it has on me personally, the notes that I took from that I will also implement in my life, in many areas of my life, and some of the exercises that were given. So I want to say to you, thank you so much for the privilege of being in your space and learning from you as well. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope that everybody on the call got that and then some. There was so much meat in what you shared and so much that we could apply immediately that you shared. And I am appreciative of it. Thank you.